This has to be the dumbest update in MM2 ever, and I know this might be a little bit controversial, but I have to talk about it because although this is, to my understanding, meant to protect Murder Mystery 2 players from bots and people who are abusing the system to basically collect a bunch of godlies to sell them for real life money, this does, in my opinion, the exact opposite and makes these items unattainable for kids, which is really unfair because either you can spend real life money, give your biometric data, or you get no item. So that sucks for you. But regardless, we're going to go ahead and talk about it. Now, I am going to clarify, I'm using a tweet from another YouTuber by the name of Colby, who has a Murder Mystery 2 channel. I will link their channel down below. This video is not about Colby, though. This has nothing to do with them. I'm just using their tweet because that's how I found out about this. And I give credit where credit's due, unlike some other creators. I'm looking at you. Anyways, but regardless, Colby's tweet reads, Murder Mystery 2 just updated to remove the option to buy the snow cannon for some players. You must either ID verify your account, buy something with Robux on MM2, or own premium to buy the snow cannon. Now, if you guys have no idea what a snow cannon is or you don't know what I'm talking about, basically, MM2 has been doing a sort of battle pass system where typically during Halloween and Christmas time, there is a sort of battle pass that typically has about 30 tiers. Now, during these times, in Halloween, there's candies around the map, and at Christmas time, there's like these snow coins. Basically, when you're in a round, you will go and collect as many coins as can fit in your sack, which if you have like a certain game pass, you can actually get more coins, which makes it a little bit unfair, but regardless, you collect coins for every single round, and then you can then use those coins to redeem to purchase different levels in the battle pass. Now you would think, Palmy, well, that doesn't sound problematic at all. Who cares, right? You could just play a bunch of MM2 and use the coins and get all the battle pass items, and then at the 30th level, the very final level, you can then unlock the godly new item called the snow cannon, which, a little sneak peek here, typically after any sort of holiday event, the godly that just comes out like during that holiday event becomes very rare for a little bit and then usually kind of decreases in value depending. But regardless, it's obviously a highly sought after item because it's a godly, which is a pretty rare item in MM2. Now, the issue here is that reaching level 30 is actually very unattainable in my opinion for the majority of players. And that is because it takes so much time to get enough coins to basically purchase every single level that you need to purchase. And so a solution to that is that you can basically just go ahead and buy levels to achieve the top level where you can get the item and basically purchase the item, which I remember the first year I did this, it was for the icebreaker, that weapon, and I was doing like the battle pass, whatever, and then I didn't realize at the end, like when you got to level 30 and you unlocked level 30, that you had to then pay for the item. What? But regardless, that was a little bit misleading, I'm gonna be honest. But in the screenshot that Colby attached, it shows Christmas 2025, your account is not eligible for this reward, which as you can see, the item, which is the snow cannon, you can purchase it for 100,000 coins, which if you've played MM2, you know it takes forever to collect that many coins. Like that is crazy, right? You have to either do one of the following: ID verify your Roblox account, make any Robux purchase on MM2, or have Roblox Premium. Now, what's interesting here is that with Roblox's whole guidelines on user ages and basically silencing children so children can't speak, Roblox gives you a couple options. You can either scan your ID and give away your biometric data to Roblox so that they can do who knows what with it, right? Or you can either purchase stuff through Roblox. And a lot of people said, well, that's safer. It's kind of weird that they're paywalling it. But the reality is the reason they want you to purchase stuff on Roblox is because then you have a credit card linked or a debit card linked to your Roblox account, which directs Roblox back to who you are or who your parents are. If you didn't know this, which I guess some kids wouldn't know, on a credit card, you obviously have your first and last name, but it also has certain information like your postal code and where you live. And to actually complete a transaction, you typically have to provide your postal code to prove that it is your credit card and you actually own it, right? So there's a lot of stuff with that kind of is bizarre when it comes to privacy. But regardless, Colby followed up by saying, it's likely this is due to prevent hackers and auto farmers from claiming the snow cannon. Which, if you guys don't know, MM2 has a really, really, really big problem with random hacking accounts and auto farmers. Basically, they are bots that will join the game, and these bots are typically associated with those like third-party selling websites where they will sell you MM2 items for like real-life money, which I'm not even going to get into that. But regardless, typically those bots will basically do these whole events, will spend hours and hours every single day like just sitting and collecting coins and buying levels and whatever it may be, right? And then what they will end up doing is claiming these snow cannons, and then they will sell them for an astronomical markup for real life money. And because the item is so highly desired and because it's so hard to achieve, even for a regular player who wants to spend money, it becomes very, very challenging to secure this item. So players will actually spend enormous amounts of real life money to basically purchase it off of one of these sketchy websites. Now, in the comment section, I thought there was some pretty good comments about this, which we'll get into. This person says, well, aren't the hackers just going to buy 100 diamonds? Because if we read that screenshot previously, one of the conditions was either you can buy something in MM2 or or you can scan your ID or do some other things, own premium. And what's interesting here is that if it is true that they're trying to do this to avoid hackers and scammers, which I think is important, right? You don't want people monopolizing the MM2 market so that nobody can afford anything, right? That's annoying. It's dumb. It's a kid's game. Like, really, do we have to do this? But regardless, at the end of the day, for people who are owning like MM2 websites or people who have bots, do you think they're really not going to spend a little bit of money on 100 diamonds to be able to secure this item that they can then sell for like 50 times that value? Like, I understand the supposed logic behind this, but this just doesn't make any sense. At the end of the day, a lot of these third-party websites, they're a business. They make a lot of money. You guys would be surprised. A lot of websites for Adopt Me that sell stuff, MM2, Rural High even, they make astronomical amounts of money because trading is just so difficult. It's hard to accumulate items. And at the end of the day, with the whole Robux conversion, typically you could purchase an MM2 item for cheaper than it would have cost for you to go to Roblox, buy Robux, pay for the item in MM2 because there's all these fees and stuff like that. And I'm not condoning anybody to visit these websites because the reality is the majority of them are scams or they're cookie loggers or they just aren't safe. But regardless, if a scammer or someone who owns one of these websites, which isn't inherently a scammer to clarify, if they're basically going to be selling items on there for like 50, 60, 70 US dollars, right? Like not insignificant chunks of money, right? Especially the really rare items like the chroma items and stuff like that. Why would, like, what's deterring them from spending a tiny bit of money to buy some diamonds? Like, obviously they're going to do that to secure these items because they can sell the items more than what the diamonds would have cost to purchase, and they're still making money. And that's what's hypocritical about this, is that the situation, and what a lot of people are speculating, is that it's intended to help protect players so that everyday players, like kids, can still get access to these weapons without, you know, these random spam accounts, which there isn't a limited quantity that you can claim, like for everybody in the world. Everybody, if you reach the level, you can claim the item. But the whole point is that these bots will basically get a bunch of the item and inflate the price and will then sell it, so it inflates the price for everybody, so it's really unattainable. But regardless, the point is to protect players from that sort of environment where one particular website or group is monopolizing the MM2 market, and instead it's making it so little kids either have to submit, what form of ID does a 5-year-old have? I don't know, like their passport, their birth certificate. They have to submit a very confidential piece of ID, or by premium, which is expensive for a lot of people, or by something in MM2. So like, what is this transaction? If I spent, right, hours upon hours playing in MM2 and collecting all of these coins and, you know, spending my time, my free time as a child, instead of hanging out with my friends doing this stuff, just to find out that at level 30, oh, I can't actually get my weapon, I would be fuming. What do you mean I spent hours and now I have to spend extra money to buy something or give you my personal information? Like, have we ever heard the thing stranger danger? Like, what is this logic? The way that Roblox and massive game developers are encouraging kids to hand over their sensitive information, which everyone's like, oh, well, Roblox uses a third-party application. Well, search up the third-party application and you'll see they're in a couple lawsuits. Yeah, allegedly. Search it up, you'll find it very quickly. It's the first result that comes up. So it's like, you want to trust that your data is safe, but as somebody who, you know, has shared data online, obviously for work, for school, for all that sort of stuff, I would not be sharing my data with these people because I just don't think it's safe. Obviously, the owner of MM2 is not going to get your ID or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, why should kids, especially young kids or kids who have worked hours to secure this item that they think they can get, for them to reach level 30 after spending so much time just to be told, hey, tell me where you live or you can't have this? What? Like, this just doesn't make any sense to me. The other thing too is the whole point of Roblox, and I understand it's a business, but a lot of kids play Roblox, and Roblox is very desirable for a lot of kids because it doesn't typically cost a bunch of upfront money. Yes, you can buy stuff for outfits. Yes, you can purchase limited access to games and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, for a lot of people who maybe don't have a ton of financial stability, don't have a ton of money to spend, playing Roblox is awesome because you have all these games at your disposal that are completely free typically to play unless you want to buy like little perks and stuff like that. But you have access to all these games, whereas on an Xbox, you have to purchase access to games, you have to purchase certain items and stuff like that, or passes and stuff. And so Roblox is meant to be an accessible platform where a bonus feature is that you can buy certain assets for your Roblox avatar. And what I think is terrible is this is advertised as a battle pass, when in reality, according to what this YouTuber has put out, who is a pretty big MM2 YouTuber, players, or some players, aren't able to purchase the final godly item that they worked hard to earn because they don't want to hand over sensitive information or because they don't want to spend money. I'm sorry, if I spent hours on a game, I'm not giving you my address, and I'm also not giving you any money. Give me my item. Thank you. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so crazy. This person writes, give me your private information to Roblox or give me money or no reward. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yay, Nicholas finally decides to do something to prevent hackers from getting the godly at the end of the pass, which I just unfortunately don't think that's what this update does. Maybe that's what it's intended to do, but it's just very flawed. That is not what's happening here. Bro, horrible update. I have to pay to get a reward now? Yeah, I quit MM2. That's what I'm saying. You have to pay to get something that you've earned? What? Absolutely not. So unless I buy something with Robux or verify, I can't buy it. Great. This person says, what's next? You need to ID verify to get a Robux type item? This person's laughing. Yeah, to prevent farmers from getting it. Most farmers I see have voice chat already, so ID won't be an issue. Instead, maybe fix the problem and ban all those dumb AFK farmers. Which I have to say, 9/10 out of 10, you will find that these, third-party websites that sell items either in MM2 or .me, their accounts, yes, they're spam accounts, but they will typically ID verify them with, I don't know what kind of IDs, but a lot of them have voice chat. So obviously they're using some form of identification to ID verify these accounts, because then there's lesser chance, to my understanding, of Roblox monitoring them because they're seen as like safer accounts, if you know what I mean. So regardless, if this is implemented, it just kind of defeats the purpose when you have all these people who are already ID verified, who are already like scamming in the game or spamming and stuff like that. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, this is such a flawed way of thinking. And it puts kids in a position where they can't have access to something that they have rightfully earned, which I think is just weird. Like, an ultimatum between privacy and spending money versus earning something that you earned, like getting something that you earned. Like, this is just so silly in my opinion. And again, this is not about this creator. They just put up the tweet and I'm using it as an example, so thank you for the example. But regardless, let me know your thoughts in this in the comment section below. As someone who played a little bit of MM2 when I was younger, I was shocked to hear this. Genuinely, because MM2, in my opinion, has been one of the least problematic games. There's been creators on there that are kind of weird, but MM2 itself has not been super problematic from what I can remember. And for them to implement an update like this allegedly, it's just like, why are you doing that? Like, you're one of the very few good games left. Don't do this. Instead, let's actually punish the people who are doing the bad things and not punish innocent kids for not having money to spend on your game. But hey, maybe that's a controversial opinion. I don't know. I'm sure you guys will let me know. So regardless, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Should kids be forced to scan their IDs and hand over their personal information, or spend real life money in a game to claim an item that they've already earned? Let me know what you guys think down below. And with that in mind, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.